So, I just talked about Titanfall yesterday, and I think that in terms of a culture discussion, it's a very interesting thing to talk about. But now I want to talk about sort of culture in a different sense, the culture of nostalgia, but in a very specific reason. When after Microsoft revealed the new version of Rise and Rise Son of Rome and E3, there was music that played, very reminiscent, but also new. It was music of Killer Instinct, the new Killer Instinct that's going to be released later this year. Now, if you never played Killer Instinct like me, but you've heard about it, you know that people are crazy about it, and there hasn't been one in like 17 years. And so, if you go to YouTube and you just type in Killer Instinct Xbox One reaction, the videos are incredible. Just people going, it's back. And that seems to be, at least in part, what Microsoft is counting on selling their console on, is the it's back factor of Killer Instinct. And you could argue that Sony's doing the same thing with Knack, surprisingly enough. If you think about, Jak and Daxter or Spyro, or Ratchet and Clank, they all derive off of this 3D platforming with combat in there and puzzles and stuff, which is good for the people who grew up and remember those games, just like how Killer Instinct is good for people who grew up and remember Killer Instinct. However, Killer Instinct has an inherent edge over Knack simply because it's Killer Instinct. Because people who have listened to the music and watched the gameplay go, this is like I remember, but just really new, and with Quantic's own take on it. As somebody who never played Killer Instinct, I've been watching videos about it like crazy, and I don't know why. I have no interest in fighting games. The only fighting game I've ever really been into is Super Smash Bros., and that's not a fighting game to some people. Which, it's indicative of a franchise that somebody who's never really laid eyes on it can look at it and go, okay, I can find something that I like about it. And that's the music. Now, it wouldn't be rare if it didn't have killer music. Probably the first game I genuinely remember playing is Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. I didn't have it. I got to play it once a year at a Super Bowl party. Every year, once a year, I got to sit down and play Donkey Kong Country for like 3 hours. And that was the most fun I had as a kid. And off and on, of course. And it's important to, have that key element that Rare was so famous for in the 90s. And it's that music. The theme, each character having their own theme. But luckily, if you watch Killer Instinct videos, you find out that they've gone above and beyond traditional fighting game music of just having a stage theme that loops. They have constantly changing music. I don't know why I try to say evolving music, but when the match starts out, if it stays calm, the music goes calm, and then when you start fighting, it gets more frantic, and as you do combos, it gets even more frantic, or it introduces new themes or takes on the music. And then each character's ultra is musical on their stage, but on another person's stage, it's a different style of music. And that's both a testament to how much these people at Quantic want Killer Instinct to stand out in the fighting game community and in the video game community. It's also a testament to the composer Mick Gordon, who, if you have not seen his panel at PAX Australia, I recommend you do. It's very, very interesting to see the psychology of which he approaches the music and how he was a Killer Instinct fan, and being told, okay, you're creating the music for the new Killer Instinct, marvelous to him. It'd be like if someone were to tell me, oh, hey, you're designing the new Unreal Tournament. I'd be going, what? I have to do What? Whoa, what, whoa, what? It's so cool to see the genuine reactions of people who want this game, who are going, I'm buying an Xbox One to play Killer Instinct. They couldn't give a shit about anything that happened in between the announcement and the release. They want Killer Instinct. They want new Killer Instinct. And it's surprising that more consoles don't do this when they launch. You know, Sony could very easily get people really excited for the PlayStation 4 with, Spyro or Jak and Daxter. Bringing back something that from older times that they have access to that would really, help cement them for that nostalgia's sake. People do buy stuff for nostalgia, and I'm kind of half and half about it at all times. But when it's something that's so old, like Killer Instinct, but it's given such a new reimagining, it's at that point that you have to go, yes, that's cool. That's where nostalgia can really hit off and do good. It's also interesting that I'm so interested in a fighting game. Like I said, I'm not that interested in fighting games, but as I watch for videos of it, it's like, yeah, I could see myself seriously sitting down if and when I get an Xbox One and just, playing Killer Instinct for hours. And I have no idea why. Which is weird. I think it sits down to how unique it is in the fighting game world, all things considered. I mean, when you look at how it was back before 3D fighters came out, it was so different. And now, because of the musicality of it, I'm a musician, technically. Not that great of a musician, I'll admit it. It's so cool to see them doing so much of music, which goes back to the Love Unreal Tournament. Actually, in Unreal Tournament 3, they had different tracks for different themes, and it's cool to see this. And, people have been criticizing Quantic Dream. No, that's the Remedy game. It's called Quantic. It's people are criticizing Quantic for their previous releases. They've pretty much been a shovelware company, but if you've been to an event where they've had Killer Instinct, or you've read about people who've gone to events where they've had Killer Instinct, people constantly have been saying this is a great fighting game, and I love how they're approaching the release of Killer Instinct with buy a single character or buy all 8 characters with the 2 that will be coming out later, or buy all 8 characters and more special shit at release for a reduced price. That is so smart, in the sense of, hey, we've reached the era of free to play. Let's do something a little different with fighting games, and maybe it catches on, maybe it doesn't. So I can't wait to see what happens November when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One are released and people get their hands on it, and all the bullshit about anything goes away, and it comes down to the controller in the hand, the box on your TV, and in some cases, the little thing that's watching you, and you're watching it back. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has given you something to think about, and I shall see all of you later.